To truly grasp how catastrophically this system can fail, one needs to look no further than the horrifying string of cold cases that became known as the Redhead murders. Between the late 1970s and early 1990s, the bodies of at least 5, and possibly as many as 14, women were discovered along highways across the South and Appalachia. The victims were found in Tennessee, Arkansas, Kentucky, Mississippi, and West Virginia. Many of them shared a chilling characteristic. They had red or reddish-brown hair. A Jane Doe with auburn hair is found in West Virginia in 1983. A year later, it's Lisa Nichols, the woman with strawberry blonde hair, strangled and left by I-40 in Arkansas. In January 1985, the body of Tina Farmer, who was pregnant, is found near I-75 in Tennessee. It wasn't merely a lack of effort. It's because the system itself is, in many ways, broken by design. Law enforcement in America is intensely decentralized, a patchwork of nearly 18,000 different state and local agencies. This structure creates what investigators call linkage blindness, the inability to see connections between crimes that cross jurisdictional lines. Police departments nationwide are grappling with budget cuts and are chronically understaffed. In this environment, cold case units are often seen as a luxury and are frequently the first to be downsized or eliminated. Some police departments are so inundated with new cases that nearly half of all murders in their cities go unsolved. This fuels a vicious cycle. As more crimes go unsolved, public trust in the police erodes. If you believe these forgotten stories must be told and these systemic failures must be addressed, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. We are dedicated to exploring the cases and the broken systems that are demanding our attention. The tipping point came in 2004, when a crime analyst in Oklahoma identified a disturbing pattern. The bodies of women were being dumped along the I-40 corridor across multiple states. This discovery prompted the FBI to officially launch the Highway Serial Killings Initiative, a formal acknowledgement that the nation's road system was being systematically used as a weapon and a dumping ground. VICAP is essentially a giant national database designed specifically to cure linkage blindness. For the first time, a local detective in one state could upload the details of their case: victim profile, cause of death, M.O., location, and an algorithm could instantly flag connections to other cases anywhere in the country. It was a direct, technology-driven assault on the highway killer's greatest advantage: geographic anonymity. When that trust disappears, witnesses are less likely to come forward, strangling investigations and ensuring even more cases go cold. A few months later, another unidentified red-haired victim appears in Tennessee, followed by the discovery of S.P. Pilgrim in Kentucky. But as the stories of the Redhead murders and the dedicated work of the FBI's Highway Serial Killings Initiative show, these were never just numbers in a file. They are people. People like Lisa Nichols and S.P. Pilgrim, and the thousands of Jane and John Does whose names we may never know. They had lives, families, and futures that were stolen from them on a desolate stretch of an American highway. A few years ago, the database had already identified more than 850 murder victims left along or near highways and flagged around 450 potential suspects. It reveals a framework struggling to adapt to predators who are experts at exploiting its seams and weaknesses. For the thousands of families still trapped in a state of ambiguous loss, waiting for an answer, a name, or some semblance of justice, the road ahead remains painfully long. The most vital thing we can do is refuse to let these stories fade into cold case statistics, remember the human faces behind the numbers, and demand a system that truly delivers justice and protection for everyone no matter where they are. The vast majority of these suspects are long-haul truck drivers. This isn't just data. It represents a shadow population of mobile predators moving completely unseen among us, hiding in plain sight. A detective in rural Tennessee might recover a unique tire track, but has no way of knowing that a detective in Mississippi has a similar track from another crime scene. Sharing information across these lines can be slow, bureaucratic, and technologically archaic. By the time two agencies manage to connect the dots, the suspect is 1,000 miles down the road, and any trail is ice cold. He is suspected of murdering more than 50 women between 1975 and 1990. But even with these high-profile wins, the problem is far from solved. The FBI remains convinced that multiple serial killers are still actively operating on our highways right now. An 18-wheeler can be a self-contained, mobile crime scene. A killer can commit their offense, clean the evidence, and dispose of a body across several states, all within a single day's drive. This is the staggering reality law enforcement is up against. But the story gets even worse when you look closer. A homicide with a white victim has a significantly higher chance of being solved than one with a black victim. This isn't just a statistical disparity. It is a profound injustice that communicates to entire communities that their lives are considered less valuable for years. These women were phantoms, their identities and stories erased by violence. Many were classified as Jane Does, their names lost to time. One of the most haunting examples is the woman found on April 1, 1985, stuffed inside a discarded refrigerator at a dump site off a highway in Kentucky. For 33 years, she was known only as the girl in the fridge. It was not until 2018, thanks to a social media post and the persistence of her children who provided DNA, that she was finally identified as 28-year-old SB Regina Black Pilgrim. Let's trace this trail of terror to understand the true chaos. Each discovery was treated as a singular, isolated tragedy, a local horror story for a small-town police force. The sheriff's department in Campbell County, Tennessee, wasn't sharing notes with the state police in West Memphis, Arkansas. The investigators in Kentucky had no way of knowing a pattern was emerging hundreds of miles away. They were all hunting the same monster, but they were doing it blindfolded, each confined to their own small part of the map. The killer, widely believed to have been a long-haul trucker, moved freely between their jurisdictions, using the very borders of law and order as his shield. The Redhead murders stand as a grim monument to this fatal flaw, a series of interconnected killings that remained disconnected for decades. So why couldn't the authorities connect the dots in the Redhead murders and countless other cases? For a highway killer, these state, county, and city lines are not barriers, they are escape routes. This problem is compounded by a severe lack of resources. The statistics are a stark indictment of the system. Across the United States, the homicide clearance rate, the percentage of cases solved by an arrest, is just over 50%. This is a massive and complex problem with no simple solution, but shining a light on it is the crucial first step. Eventually, the body count along America's highways grew so high that it became impossible for federal authorities to ignore. As a core component of this initiative, the FBI leveraged its Violent Criminal Apprehension Program, or VICAP. What VICAP has uncovered is absolutely chilling. The program has achieved significant successes, aiding in the capture of monsters like Robert Ben Rhodes, the infamous truck stop killer, who transformed the cab of his truck into a mobile torture chamber. We began with a staggering number, 250,000, 250,000 unsolved murders. The highway crisis exposes a fundamental vulnerability in the nation's geography and its system of justice. What do you think needs to change to solve more of these cases? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your engagement helps keep these stories from being forgotten.